All right, everybody. My name is Fausto Puglisi from Cyber Trading University, and good afternoon, everyone. Let me just do a quick little audio check. Could everyone just give me a chat back and let me know if you could hear us loud and clear? Tom Sosnoff is going to join us in about a minute, and I know you guys got a lot of questions to ask him, but especially what's going on in this market. Let me tell you, I think today was like the first day the market's been down. I know what a roller coaster it was today regarding about a huge rally. We broke 26,000. And it was a great bell right there. And sure enough, there was a big rumor going around that we might have the market, have a government shutdown, and that put a big scare in the market. And it did come back at the end of the day. So looking forward to it regarding, unfortunately, catastrophes do make opportunities for everyone. And once again, there's the beauty about you guys being here is not only knowing how to trade, but you got to know and have to have the right execution system, because there's so many ways of leveraging yourself. And, and it all starts with what happens over the course of the day to understand how to trickle down and how to do your swing trades and your options trades. But listen, without the right tools, you're trading blind. I always tell everybody, when I started 25 years ago, being a young pup, not knowing anything better, I made mistakes. One of the biggest mistakes I ever made trading is being an ignorant 22-year-old kid, knowing that I knew how to trade and try to get everything for free, try to get the best, the cheap, and everything. And sure enough, I blew up 3 accounts. And then once I took a job as a trader, and I finally learned and raised the white flag, not realizing, not having the right execution system. And when I was first introduced at certain things on certain platforms, I'm like, how could anyone even consider have a fighting chance not having the right platform? And that's where we lead into today's special event this afternoon on Closing Bell, having one of my very dear, closest, very important, most a trader that I always look up to, and has always have a great relationship. I always am very excited to see him every time I see him. And you know what? Great traders, I want you to understand something very important. Great traders never stop learning, and great traders always learn something new from someone else. And it's always great to just have, to listen to these special events and have these great speakers come on. Because listen, guys, if you want to be a good trader, you got to know how to play the game. And remember, it's always changing. It's always changing. And Tom will be the first one to tell you, we're experiencing in the past year has been extremely historic. I mean, the market has rallied so much. And like I said, it's not getting political here, but you know what? We're all the same party in the party of traders, and we have to just be able to work together like a team. So without further ado, let's give a big round of applause to my old friend, Tom Sosnoff. Tom, you there, buddy?
Thanks so much, Fausto, and all the Faustonians out there. Welcome. I love the introduction and people from all over the world. That's super cool. We have customers and listeners from 165 out of 195 countries. So it's exciting that people are on, because I know it's 3 a.m. somewhere and 4:30 in the morning somewhere else, and it's crazy. But it's awesome, that all these people come on to your event and to listen to you, and I can't wait for the session. I mean, you and I have been going back and forth now, doing on and off events for about the last almost a decade and a half or something. So
it's got to be at least 15 years. It feels like yesterday. I still remember the first day I met you, and it's actually coming up. I think it's our anniversary. We met.
I didn't buy you a present. I forgot. I'm so sorry.
It was at the New York Expo, okay. And we were with JJ, and I never forget meeting you up in the lobby. And I met you a few times, even before that, but I never had a chance to sit down with you. But I met you in Canada. We met when you first launched Thinkorswim at that time, and I saw you here and there, and then but we had a great relationship, and ever since then we never turned back.
Yeah, Fausto has always been, to everybody listening today, Fausto's a very smart individual. The first thing he did was figure out that if he brought me bagels from Long Island and black and white cookies from his favorite Italian bakery, that he would own me, and he pretty much did that. So it worked out great. It
wasn't an Italian bakery; it was a Jewish bakery. The Jewish bakeries make the best bagels.
I was throwing you a bone. All right. Well, thanks so much for letting me do this today, Fausto, and I'm excited to be here. And we actually had an interesting day today. So for the first time in a couple of weeks, we have something to talk about, which isn't a market that opened up, ground its way higher, or just or skyrocketed higher, and it's a market that had some two-sided trade, and it's a market where volatility expanded today. So I think it's going to be a fun discussion. We have lots of places we can go today.
By the way, if anyone has any audio problems with sound, just log out, log back in. Just make sure you're using your Chrome. All right.
Hey, Fausto. So I'm not sure because we didn't have a chance to talk before the session exactly the direction you want me to go. If you want me just to go, I'm happy to take off and run with the platform and show you a bunch of different stuff on it. Or if there's a specific underlying you want to talk about or a specific topic, just let me know.
Well, Tom, basically, listen, the big thing is I want people to know how to use your platform because, one of the biggest hurdles that people have when they come to Cyber Trade University, even like newcomers, the first thing they always ask me is like, oh, what do you think of this brokerage firm? And, why is this ticket more? I pay this price and what makes this one better than the other? And the first thing I always tell them is that you got to get educated first because it's okay. Trading is not for everybody, and you know that. I tell everyone, listen, it's okay. Don't worry about it, but it's not for everyone because you can go out there and open up your brokerage account, and next thing you know, blow it up in 2 weeks. And the main reason why is no one really taught them how to use the platform properly and don't realize what the advantage is and what makes one better than the other. So, as much as we could talk a little bit about the market and what's happening and, because everybody's like the big thing, everybody's talking about Bitcoin and this and that. But at the end of the day, I mean, listen, when it comes to options trading or when they want to do stock trading, they got to know how to use the platform great. And, you launched this great platform out there. And I think people need to know how it works and why they need to start using it. And at the end of this presentation, get a demo and download it and start utilizing it.
I completely agree. So thank you so much. So if you want me just to take off, I will.
All yours.
Perfect. So welcome everybody. Again, my name is Tom Sosnoff, and I'm on today with, in addition to Fausto, by the way, of course, because he's in New York, I'm in Chicago, and he was damn straight about the weather. I'm also on with Scott Sheridan and Chris Grace. They are in our TASTYWORKS office. And the reason I mention them is Scott is the CEO of TASTYWORKS, and Chris is his right-hand man who runs all our risk and margins. And both of those guys are answering questions so that I can focus on the demo. So we have two people, no questions are off limits, no questions are out of bounds. I don't have to look at the questions that way, and I can just go on with the software demo. And anybody that wants to ask any question at all on really any topic, just so you know, Chris has been with us since we started tastytrade, and he was on our research team, and now he's over at TASTYWORKS. And Scott and I have been partners going all the way back to when we were prop traders on the floor of the SIBO in the late 80s. So it's been about 30 years for us, and we built Thinkorswim together. So there's no question that again, that's off limits for Scott or for Chris. Ask anything you want about the brokerage side, about rates, about accounts, and they can answer virtually everything, and I can focus on the software demo and also, going back and forth with Fausto and any questions you have, regarding markets or technology. And again, the reason I say that is because I'm an active trader myself. I'm not, last year I made close to 17,000 trades using the TASTYWORKS platform. I'm pretty involved all the time. For those of you that know me, for those of you that don't know me, I've been doing this since 1980, so it's a long time. We ran a prop firm in the 80s and 90s, which meant we had, 40, 50 traders on multiple floors in Chicago. We were market makers. We started Thinkorswim in 1999 and sold it in 2009 to TD Ameritrade because we were a public company, and we pretty much didn't have control over that sale at that point. And then we started tastytrade in 2011, and then TASTYWORKS on January 3rd, 2017. And we feel pretty confident that we are among the top. Well, we build really cool technology platforms, let's put it that way. And Thinkorswim was a breakthrough when we built it in 1999, 2000, and we think TASTYWORKS is, taking this to a whole nother level of vision. TASTYWORKS was designed to be super fast. It's built on high frequency middleware, and TASTYWORKS has, when I say high frequency middleware, we decided when we built TASTYWORKS that we want it to be as lean as possible, no bloat to the platform. So what we did was we partnered with a high frequency firm in Chicago that we built technology with before, and we built a very fast platform that takes you from order entry, which means when you click a button on your side, to the firms that are making markets in less than 100 milliseconds, and sometimes it's closer to 20 or 30 milliseconds. So that's extremely fast, like 6 or 7 times faster than most other retail platforms out there. It's also incredibly stable. Last year was the first year that TASTYWORKS was open for business for the entire year, and we had virtually 99.999% uptime. I don't think there was a single moment in 2017 when you couldn't log into the platform. So it's stable and it's fast, and those were the keys to us. No bloat, no confusion, just make a platform that's very fast, very user intuitive, very user friendly, and also a platform that covered all the bases, makes it easy to trade stock, options, futures, makes it easy to adjust and roll positions, and makes it easy to understand what you have so there's not a lot of clicks around the platform, and also gives us a way to scale the platform over the next couple of years into making it one of the best platforms ever in the industry. So hold on one second. I'm going to just I'm just going to put up a stock up here so you can see some certain things. Type in IBM, just throw a stock up here. Okay, perfect. So a couple things that I want to show you as I take through the platform. And I think it's important to note that when we built our first platform almost 18 years ago now, we knew what we were doing trading wise because we had traded for almost 20 years prior to that, but we weren't sure what customers wanted to see. It was new to us. Charts were new to us. Search engines were new to us. Different types of trades, including spreads, were new to us. So we kind of revolutionized the industry with technology being first. Over the last 2 decades, we've continued to press the technology, but we also decided that you have to have great content, which Fausto brought up. You have to really, believe in your mentors, believe in the educators out there, and believe in the quality of content that's out on the street. And you also have to have the right pricing model. So one of the important things we did with TASTYWORKS was we built a pricing model that pretty much changed the whole industry. We saved individual investors hundreds of millions of dollars in 2017 alone by driving much lower prices across the whole industry. We introduced all closing trades are free. So if you trade options or stock, and futures were essentially the same way, but we had to split it up so it works out the same price, but we just charge differently. But stock and options, you pay one way, you pay to open, you don't pay to close. And we also just recently, on January 3rd of 2018, introduced cap commissions. So the most you can pay on any leg is $10 plus clearing and exchange fees. But the most we charge is $10 on any leg. So that's up to 80 or 90% cheaper than most of the other major firms on the street. Some are, maybe it's 70% cheaper for large trades, and for small trades, we are among the cheapest firms out there. So what we wanted to do was we wanted to create a fee structure that put individual investors on a level playing field with prop firms and institutional traders and everybody else. And we have now leveled that playing field. Your technology is just as fast, your content is just as good, and your fees are just as low. So it is truly a level playing field, and that's where you need to start from in order to be successful, because in all fairness, it's a hard business. And I know that because, I've been challenged by this business, and I've been learning through this business for a long freaking time now. And we love the challenge, we love the learning process, we love the mechanics, but it never gets any easier. It gets to be more fun, it gets to be more repetitive, it gets to be more understandable, but it never gets any easier. So here are some of the kind of neat features of the platform. First of all, we built a very simple watch list, which obviously is not unique to this platform or any other platform. But the cool thing about the TASTYWORKS watch list is it controls everything else on the platform. So you configure your own watch list, or you use one of our default watch lists. In this case, this is my default watch list, of which anybody can access it if they want. And for example, if you wanted to trade futures, you would just click on the ask price to buy something and click on the bid price to sell something, or any one of the underlying. So if I wanted to buy an S&P future, just click on the ask price to buy it. If I wanted to sell a NASDAQ future, just click on the bid price to sell it. If I wanted to buy a Russell future, just click on the ask price. If I wanted to buy a Bitcoin future, just click on the ask price. I mean, that's it. And it's very, I'm sorry, I just clicked on the wrong Bitcoin future. But if I wanted to click on a Bitcoin future, just click on the ask price. And we built the platform as also so that when you click on the bid or you click on the offer, it populates all different aspects of the platform. So for example, this platform is designed where the left-hand gutter or column, as we call it, is your watch list. The middle page has all the different choices. Basically, it's your index layout. It's your page format. And on the right-hand side of the page, there's everything from your positions to your current orders that were filled for the day. Like if I want to see.
Can we fix the platforms real quick?
Oh, sure. What's the matter?
The screen sharing. We just want to fix it.
Okay, hold on one sec. Is it not going through?
No, it's going through. I just cut off like the.
Hold on one second. We're fixing.
It's weird.
Give me 1 sec while I fix the platform. Perfect. Okay. Okay. So hopefully you can see this better now. So if you want to see your filled orders, they'd be in this column. If you want to see your working orders, they'd be here. Obviously, I have no working orders because the market's closed, and other things along those lines. Let me go back now and kind of take you through a quick little walk through the platform on some underlyings that that you might be interested in trading or that are of interest to us today. A couple things about the platform. First of all, there's no fees for the platform and there's no fees for the data on the platform. So what we do is we show you most of the major future markets. What I mean by that is we have all the CME markets up here, and then there are a few other products as well. There are the we show the S&Ps, the NASDAQ, the Dow, and you can take it all the way down through corn, wheat, and soybeans, and even Bitcoin and natural gas and everything else. And I can get to individual stocks, of course, that goes without saying. But for starters on just a discussion of platform, I'm going to type in an underlying where I have no position right now, which is IBM. And the first thing we show, which is different than most other platforms, is the implied volatility rank of IBM. That means what we do is we take the current implied volatility of IBM, which is 20, let's say February implied volatility is 27.7%, and the front month earnings volatility is 85%, and we measure that against itself. We take an average of these numbers, we measure it against itself for the last 12 months, and we determine where the current implied volatility ranks among, in context among itself, so that you can measure IBM against IBM to determine whether implied volatility in IBM is high. This is important to us because we believe that you need context in order to make certain trade decisions with respect to strategy. If the implied volatility rank of IBM is 100, you know that when IBM measured against itself right now, whether it's due to the binary event, which is earnings, or whether it's due to some other activity right now, the importance of knowing that IBM IV rank is 100 means that you can really apply any strategy you like, and especially any premium selling strategy, with the implied volatility rank that high, because it's more likely to revert to the mean, which is below 50, than it is to stay at 100. So then, of course, we show the standard, standard markets for that as well. When you open up, the options in here to look at IBM, there's a couple of things that stand out. First of all, if I open up February options, and I'll open up fewer strikes, you don't need to see all these. When I open up the options, a couple of things pop out here. This little red line, or kind of it's not red, I should say, it's an orangey line. This orangey line represents the current closing price of the underlying. This dotted line represents a 1 standard deviation move. If I open up more strikes, you'll see 2 dotted lines. The first one with the closer in dots is 1 standard deviation. The second one with the wider spaced dots is a 2 standard deviation move. That will give you just kind of an indication of expected move. when you look up here on the right-hand side of the page, we use our own VIX, our own volatility calculation. So February implied volatility in IBM is 27.7%, and the expected move between now and February expiration is $7.72. So that's $7.72 higher or lower from the current price of 160, just call it 164. So almost $8 lower, down to 156, or $8 higher up to 172 would be the expected range in IBM over the next 31 days, which is that number up here, 31 days to expiration. Now, if you choose to see the weeklies in here, you can go up to the top right-hand corner of this page, and you can choose all expirations, and it'll show you the weekly options as well. But for ease of just discussion, I'm going to show you the monthly expirations only. So the first thing to note is that's cool is we show the 1 standard deviation, the 2 standard deviation, the number of days to expiration, the implied average at the money volatility, and the expected move over the next 31 days. The next thing we do is we make it super simple to trade on this platform, regardless of what you want to do. If you wanted, for example, to do a covered call in here, you can click on the ask price and then choose to pick whatever call. Stock's trading 164, I'll sell the 170 calls. There you have a covered call. And your net price is 162.37. And this just gives you an idea of kind of, you'd be collecting $31.37 a day if the stock didn't move. Your probability of profit on this page, because it analyzes it for you instantly, your probability of profit is 55%, and your probability of reaching 50% of max profit on this trade is 50%. Max profit, by the way, is right here, which is $3,700. So your statistical chance of making $1,900 on this trade is 50%, and your probability of making 1 penny is 55%. All the numbers are built into the platform for ease of use, and of course, you can see how easy it is just to set up the trade. But let's say you want it to get a little bit more complex, and for example, instead of buying stock and selling call, you wanted to do something which was the synthetic equivalent, and you just want to sell a naked put, just click on the bid of the put. That's all you have to do. You go to the nearest out of the money put, it's the 35 delta option, and it has about a 35% chance of getting to that 160 level, and you would collect somewhere over 320. You could adjust the price to whatever you want. If for any reason you said, hey, 160 is too close here, I want to move this strike down to 155, here's where the beauty of TASTYWORKS comes into play. All you have to do is click on this line and just drag it down to 155. You don't have to type anything. There's no more clicks. This is the simplest platform for adjusting strikes. It's all drag and drop. That's all you have to do is just click on the bid to sell something, click on the ask to buy something, and if you want to drag it, you can click on the bid or offer and drag it down a notch. In this case, we're selling. If you wanted to convert it to buying, there's lots of different choices that let you swap. There you go, right down here where it says swap. I can turn it from a sell to a buy or back to a sell. Or I can, if I wanted to turn it from a naked 160 put into a short put spread, I just click on the offer price of the 155 puts, and now I have a put spread for $1.61, which is approximately 1/3 the width of the strikes. So again, here, let me just start this over because I want this to make total sense to everybody. I started out with the concept of doing a covered call. A covered call is a synthetic short put. Instead of doing the synthetic short put, I'm just going to sell the put, and I would collect $3.20. I'd have a statistical chance of success of about 64%. But instead of doing that, now I'm going to define my risk, and I'm going to sell this put spread for $1.61. If this put spread makes you nervous for any reason, you can drag it both sides down, and now you can collect the 150, 155 and collect just 81 cents for it, and you can have a much higher probability of profit on this trade. You can see over here, it goes all the way up to 71%, or I'm sorry, 78%. But now let's say, you know what? That's kind of cool, but I want to make this into an iron condor. So you click on the bid price of the 170s, the ask price of the 175s, and now you have an iron condor on, and you're collecting $1.86. So you have, just let's call it a almost a 65-70% chance of success, a 65% chance of success. Let's say I want to give myself a slightly higher chance of success. I will move these strikes down. If I want to go outside of a outside of a 1 standard deviation move, I can do that as well. I'll do this on both sides. Now I have my Iron Condor set up just outside of a 1 standard deviation move. I never even had to go to another page on the platform. I'm only collecting 70 cents, but I know at this point that my statistical chance of success is just under 80%. Pretty slick. Now, let's say, for example, I decide, okay, I want to sell the put. I want to sell the put spread, and I'm going to eliminate this call for a second. I want to sell this call above the market, and I want to sell this put spread below. We would call that a reverse Jade Lizard. Let's say I wanted to sell this call spread and sell this put. This would be a Jade Lizard. Now you're noticing I'm never clicking on anything on the rest of the platform. I'm just using this option chain and dragging everything around. It makes life 100 times easier when you're trading options, and it makes it this is what we call our table mode. It makes it really easy to understand. It makes it very visual, but for people that want even a little bit different of a visual aspect to it, we have a curve mode. So you can see this exact same trade, which is a Jade Lizard, a short call spread, and a naked short put. You can see your profit range in here. You can see your distribution curve up here. You can see all the strikes here. You can see the credit you receive here. And you can also adjust everything in this mode. So I can take my, make my call strikes higher, move my call spread higher, adjust my put strikes, make my call spread wider, give myself a bigger potential profit range. Of course, I'm taking on more risk if I do that. But you can use our curve mode, you can use our table mode, and if you're just trading futures and or stocks, you can use our active trader mode, which is unique, and it's our own design. Nobody else has anything like this. It's an incredibly fast way to enter multiple trades, and we have a lot of active futures traders active futures and stock traders that live on our active trader mode. But most people that like visual representation and like to see everything inside of a distribution curve will use our curve mode, and the majority of the trades go through the table mode for ease of execution. Again, we have analysis built into this mode. We have really easy to make trades, and I'm going to point out something else to you. I'm going to clear this page up, and let's say I want to go back up here and I wasn't exactly sure how to set up a trade. I can choose, for example, just to click on Jade Lizard, just hit go, and there's your Jade Lizard, and you can adjust strikes from there. So for any reason you get a little bit, I'm not really sure how to set this trade up, boom, just go up this menu up here, choose whichever underlying spread you want. If you want a calendar, options, straddles, and strangles, whatever else it is, I can clear these trades out and, oops, let me go back down here and clear the trade. I'll clear the trade out. I'll go back up to the top of the page. And let's just say, for example, I wanted to use Iron Condor. Just click on Iron Condor, and it will default to around the money Iron Condor. And then you can adjust the strikes to whatever you like. And another nice thing about TASTYWORKS is we don't have to recognize the spread in order to route the order. So if you want to use 4 strikes, great. If you want to use 2 strikes, fine. If you want to use 3 strikes, fine. And then if you wanted to, for example, to change the makeup of the spread from a perfect Iron Condor to a, for example, skewed Iron Condor, which is this trade, 10 points wide on the call side, 5 points wide on the put side, that's a skewed Iron Condor. And if you wanted to make it a ratio Iron Condor, and I'll show you this for a second, you just highlight whatever lines you like, and you can change the quantity of either side. So I made this selling 10 call spreads and selling 5 put spreads. So this is what we call a ratio skewed Iron Condor. This is a ratio Iron Condor. This is a ratio and skewed Iron Condor because the quantity is different and the amount and the strikes are different. And so therefore you have all these different options, and we couldn't care less how you route this stuff on the platform, meaning that we don't care if you can use any quantity you want, you come up with any combination, because the counterparties are all electronic today. You hit review and send, you hit it again, and your order will pop into this column over here. This column is configurable, meaning you can give yourself more space, less space. If you don't want to see this daily chart up here at the top, you can choose to hide it. give yourself even more space at the top of the page. When you have an underlying with positions on, like for example, let me go to something where I have a really small position on. I think we have a small position on in Tesla, for example. So when I look at this Tesla position that we have on right now, let's say I wanted to take these, just as an example, let's say I wanted to take my February 310, 340 short strangle, and I wanted to do something with this particular trade. So I'm going to highlight this one trade, this one strangle, not my whole position, but just this one strangle, right click, move to quick roll. This is the beauty of this platform. And it will automatically roll my position from February to March. And then if you want to change any of the strikes, because for example, we're closer to 340, we're just over 340 than we are to 315. It makes sense for me to move these strikes up to about 325 in March to reduce my position risk in this trade. By doing so, of course, you can see that my credit goes from 1118 all the way up to, I mean, obviously I'm taking on more risk, but my credit goes up to 1453, which adds, about $3.35 to, to my total credit. Then you just hit review and send and send. So I'll hit review and send and send. So, and you'll get used to how fast this platform is because most people aren't used to trading on stuff like this. So for example, now I entered this IBM position earlier. If I want to cancel it, just hit cancel order. It's gone. And then if I wanted to change my price on this Tesla order, I just hit replace and I'll lower my credit by 4 cents, hit review and send and just double click on it and send it, and there my price has changed. So the platform is incredibly simple for adjusting and rolling trades. This platform was built for people that are like us and are product indifferent, that are active traders. This is the fastest growing active trading platform in the world. And it's designed for people that like using lots of different products, meaning it's indifferent to stock, it's indifferent to options, it's indifferent to futures. The platform supports all of them in very simple layout. So like for a quick example, this is a futures position. These are all my positions in this particular account. I have about 80 different underlyings in this account. This is a trade page. This is an activity page. It shows you everything that you did today, and there's lots of different ways of sorting and looking at this. This is a watch list tab. Now, on the watch list tab, what's interesting about this is we give you things that most other firms don't give you as far as watch lists go. First of all, we will let you sort by IV rank. So if you looked at Boeing right now, the IV rank in Boeing is 100. Let me just clean this up a little bit. Give me 1 second. Perfect. So like if I looked at some of the underlyings here, Boeing, XLU, Slav, which is Schlumberger, John Deere, Amazon, Intel, these all have IV ranks of 100. And so you can look down and you can see the stocks that are most active and are most in play. We also have a liquidity meter over here where we measure stocks by underlying volume. We also have a correlation underlying to the spiders. So you can see how correlated you are to the spiders. And in most cases, you'd like to be probably not correlated. So like, for example, Boeing only has a 0.29% correlation to the spiders right now and has extremely high beta because it's been like a runaway train. When you look at the stocks that are the most active with the highest implied volatility rank, very few of them are highly correlated to the market because they've been outperforming the markets. We show you the beta, we show you the underlying volume, and again, these columns are configurable, so there's probably 20 or 30 more choices than what I'm showing you up here. And we combine, futures and options and stocks as well. It doesn't make any difference to us. You can look at it any way you want. You can watch our network if you so desire. You can watch, you can see our brand new charting package, and it's getting better and better. There'll be a release of our own scripting language in the very near future. There will also be a release of an analysis page, which we are rolling out in the next 2 weeks. And for the first time, you will have full position analysis. We built the first fully functional analysis tab for a retail platform in 1999 when we built the analysis tab on Thinkorswim. we have now built an entirely new analysis tab, which you'll have in just about 2 weeks, that will allow you to do things that we weren't sure you could do a long time ago. So we're excited. We don't want to spoil the surprise, but we're rolling that out in about 2 weeks. But our current charting tab has about 100 different indicators. We're not huge into technical analysis, but it's a solid platform. On our historical page, we'll show you everything that we did today, just breaking it down. And then we have a special column up here, which is essentially follow traders. So for example, if you wanted to see, maybe we can talk Fausto into coming on here one day, but if you wanted to see what, all the things that I'm doing and all the things people in our office are doing on our research team, we show you every trade that we make. So we're completely transparent, and these are all real trades with real money. We don't do anything. We don't have a paper trading platform right now. We will in a few months, but these are all live trades. There's nothing synthetic or nothing virtual in the way we approach it. Now, our platform is kind of neat. Let me go back to a position tab for a second, and I want to show you a couple things here that are interesting. Like when you look at a position, I'll pick something where we have a really small position on in here. Let's see, where's a small position? Let's look at NVIDIA for a second. So when we have a very small position on NVIDIA now, we're short a call spread, and we're short a put spread below the market and a call spread above the market. This is a classic iron condor. But we'll also show you what our Etf Deltas are. What that means is that you can choose to see the individual stock delta, or you can choose to see the ETF delta, but at the top of the page, we'll show everything in spider deltas. I have that line closed right now for personal reasons, but we will default to allowing you to look at things however you want to. So you can look at them in individual deltas, you can look at them in ETF deltas, and then we default the entire platform to beta weighted deltas. And we make this page really simple. We show your deltas, we show your gamma, theta, vega, we show your P&L for the day, your P&L open, we show you the probability of profit on the trade, your extrinsic premium left in the trade, and actually where you got into the trade, as well as what the underlying stocks do for that day. So it's a platform, again, that mixes in stock options and futures that's pure product indifferent, and that lets you, without having to switch any pages, this is the key. Like if you type in NVIDIA and you want to see an NVIDIA chart, you just open charts. You don't have to type in NVIDIA. If you want to see your NVIDIA history, you just click on history, charts. If you want to see your activity and you just want to see NVIDIA, you can click on activity and set it to just NVIDIA. If you want to look at trades, all the trades that populate on this page are all NVIDIA trades. And so we make it simple. NVIDIA positions, upper left-hand corner of the page. NVIDIA orders, if you wanted to see just NVIDIA, you click on NVIDIA here. I didn't trade anything in there today, so that's why there's nothing. But you can see just NVIDIA orders. And so we keep the platform without ever having to change pages. You never lose sight of where you are throughout the entire platform, and that's the neat thing. We've been trading for a long time, and we've dealt, Scott and myself, we kind of started together a long time ago in the trading pits, and there was no real technology. We were on handheld cards and kind of used our heads as calculators. And where we've come to today is wild. I mean, the technology that's in front of us, our ability to make trades, adjust trades, stay small, trade often, roll trades, adjust the strikes, ratio trades, any underlying, find just liquid underlyings, and within 1 second know what the implied volatility rank is, what the correlation is to the rest of our portfolio, what our overall SPY weighted deltas are, and how it affects our position. It's really, we're at a phenomenal spot for individual investors, as long as we can have some two-sided markets and some kind of two-sided trade, as they say, and as long as the markets move around like they did today. Fausto, do you have any questions?
Yeah, Tom, so a few people keep asking about, obviously I know you've got Scott and everyone that's answering back regarding about pricing, but could you show a couple of like stock trades, how they can do a stock trade from an option?
Sure, a stock trade? Absolutely.
Yeah, and then also show them from the watch list of how you have your watch list. If you could do like if you have it set up in a percentage gain or a loser list or something like that.
Well, what we do with respect to stock trades is pretty straightforward. If you want to buy a stock, just click on the offer. If you want to sell a stock, just click on the bid. You can set your defaults to whatever you like. Like your quantity can be on this platform that we're showing you today. I have my quantity set at 500. It can be 1,000. It can be 10,000. It can be 100. It doesn't make any difference to us. We only charge commissions one way. So I think we're one of the cheapest firms in the whole industry for doing stock. It's only $2.50 each way. So you can do whatever you want for $2.50 in either direction. And, that's essentially, when it comes to functionality, what we've tried to do is to limit the choices, like limit the routing choices, limit the quote choices. I should be very explicit about a couple things. First of all, unlike virtually every other platform in the industry, we have no throttles on our quotes. So when you look at our NVIDIA quotes over the course of the day, they are not throttled, they are not pulled, they are pushed through in real time. So what the first thing you'll notice when you use when you use TASTYWORKS is you will see how fast the data is, because you're probably not used to it, because most other platforms throttle because they don't have the ability. The technology wasn't available when they were built, those platforms, to push through stream 2, 3, 5 million quotes per second. We have that ability. So on this platform, you'll see incredibly fast quote speed. You'll also see a very interesting routing system. So we route to different liquidity providers, and you'll be surprised, Fausto, the fills come back, like I said, sub 100 milliseconds. And so there's nothing fancy about this. You want to buy a stock, click on the offer. You want to sell a stock, click on the bid. I mean, you can set your screen up. There's lots of different, choices inside the platform. For example, there's a little wheel up here, and it lets you choose what you'd like to see, on your different watch lists. So, for example, on the left sidebar, which is what you were just asking about, you can choose, description, exchange, last, the exchange, the mid, the IV rank, the index, the volume, the net change, the beta, the dividend yields, the high, low, the liquidity rating, earnings dates. I mean, you name it, you can put it up there. I keep mine as simple as possible. The center main column, by the way, has even more indexes and more things to look at, but you can choose, however you want to look at it. We are not, by design, we are not a stock trading platform. We are not an option trading platform. We are not a futures trading platform. We look at all three products exactly the same. 500 shares of spiders is equivalent to one S&P future, which is equivalent to, 10 at the money options. There is no difference to us between all those products. So what we wanted was a platform that allows you to trade stock, options, futures, all with one click, all in conjunction with one another, and keep it as inexpensive as possible.
Now, Tom, could you trade pre-market and aftermarket on the platform?
You will be able to in about 2 weeks. So we haven't turned it on yet because we only have a couple of people that want to make markets for us pre-market. You know how it works, the pre-market. You have to use limit orders only, and there's only a few market centers you can send the orders to. And we weren't crazy about them because, to be fair with you, it's a losing proposition for us. We have more customers that get run over than actually make money on it. But we decided to turn it on as just a service to our customers. So you can ask Scott what the hours will be. I believe it's going to be 6 in the morning till 5 at night, but you'll have to ask Scott just to confirm.
Okay. So like, for example, like Juno's moving right now after hours. You won't be able to get a quote on that.
No, you'll get a quote on it. What's the symbol?
Okay.
Juno?
Yeah, Juno.
Okay. So you can see right now it's actually I don't see anything moving in there right this sec, but
it's gapped
there
up.
it is. Yeah, I mean the stock just went 66 bid. It's at 01. You'll see all the changes, and we'll show you all the market centers, by the way. So what you're seeing in there is 11 different market centers. So we're showing you the full quote stream in Juno right now. The only thing we don't support stock-wise is over-the-counter bulletin board stocks.
Yeah, we don't trade. Nobody. Well, I never touched those. No.
Why is Juno up $20?
I guess news. Things up $17 right now, going
it's
higher.
up 21. It looks like. Yeah, crazy. But yeah, it looks like it's up 21 bucks after the
I
close.
guess it's been earnings. A lot of earnings came out because it just came out right at the close, a couple of minutes
Really?
after.
Okay, yeah, I didn't have a chance to I didn't even look at Juno today, but I don't usually. I haven't traded that stock in years. But yeah, we do show, so you can see the quotes up there right now. You can see every quote's changing. And so that's about 11 different market centers.
Okay, perfect. So the other big thing that everyone always asks, Tom, is so the pricing is 250 in, 250 out.
Well, it's $5 in, 0 out.
0 out. Okay, so it's $5 for the trade, and you know what it is to get out. No matter if it's 1 share or 100 shares or 10,000.
You can do whatever you want. Yep. And remember, options, we cap those at $10. So if you want to trade 100 lot, it's $10, 10 cents a contract. You want to trade 1,000 lot, it's a penny a contract. If you want to trade, a 20 lot, it's still, only $10. So we capped option legs at $10, and we capped individual options at $1 with 0 to get out. Fausto, we changed the whole industry because we're offering the fastest technology, the most complex technology, along with great content and the lowest rates. And I don't think anybody else, and we're pushing the industry in lots of different ways.
Well, they try to copy you. I noticed that they all started trying to following after you came out with those quotes.
Yeah, and we don't charge extra risk premium like some firms do. We don't charge, we don't charge additional risk premium. We don't charge for the platform. We don't have any other charges. We don't nickel and dime. And I should tell you some other cool things what Scott and his team have put into place. We don't call you. So what that means is we don't try to solicit your assets. Most of the firms in the industry, Schwab, TD, Fidelity, E-Trade, everybody calls you up and tries to solicit your assets for assets under management. We do not do that.
They're all doing that wealth management thing. And
of course, and we don't do that. In fact, we don't even offer, and this was a really important piece to our business, we don't offer mutual funds, and we don't offer any product that's sold. So there's no products other than trades for individual self-directed investors. So anything you can trade on listed exchange, we hope to either have it offered now or offer in the future. We do not offer any match products, any bonds, any mutual funds, or anything that you can be sold by a money manager. So we're very focused on building the best technology. We're very focused on delivering you great service and low rates, and we're not interested in managing, somebody's portfolio or, shipping it off into some mutual fund or some asset gathering tool, some robo-advisor or anything like that. Of no interest to us. We're just here to support individual investors.
Now, Tom, a lot of people always ask, and they want to always practice on demo mode and this and that. I'm correct. You can't demo trade. You have to open an account to get the platform, right?
You can open an account, not fund it, and you can download the platform and check it out. But if you want to demo trade on it, we will have demo trading, which is virtual trading or paper trading. We hope to have it in mid-March. That's our target.
Okay. All right. Well, listen, at the end of the day, I tell everybody you only need about a week to paper trade. I get people I had some people paper trade for like 6 months, and I try to tell them there's an old saying, and it was funny you brought it up just before. You said you did 17,000 trades last year. I tell everyone it takes about 1,000 trades before you even learn how to trade, and some people don't even make one trade. And they wait, and you have to trade to learn. So the whole thing about demo trade, I know that you and I, we're not big fans of it because it kind of it's not a reality. And, I'll never forget one of the other things you always taught me 15 years ago. And I still tell people today the same thing. I tell everyone, you learn more risking $50 on a trade than buying a $50 book.
Yeah. Can I tell you a quick little story? Because a lot of people get confused by this topic, and I actually think it's important. There's a lot of people listening today have probably read Malcolm Gladwell's book on basically 10,000 hours essentially. What does it take to be really skilled at something? And it's an interesting concept, of course, and I think if you're flying an airplane, there's and if you're performing open heart surgery, or if you're doing certain other things, I think that there's a certain amount of repetition and experience that you want. I think that the most important thing to know about trading is that it's not the 10,000 hours. because I have hundreds of thousands of hours and it's still hard. I think with trading, it's the amount of repetition that creates the expected result. So whereas a pilot, the expected result is that you land the plane successfully. With a heart surgeon, the expected result is that you bring the patient in, and they live and they're and you correct whatever was wrong. I think with traders, if you understand that markets are random and that results are predictable based on statistics and probabilities, that you need to do something. It's more of law of large numbers than it is anything else. So it's not so much the 10,000 hours of practice, it's the 10,000 trades or the 1,000 trades or the 100 trades or the one trade, as you suggested, that get you closer to your goal of meeting your expectations. If you do something a number of times, you're going to have a better chance of having that expected outcome, and that's what's so important about it. So again, that's where we differ from kind of that same kind of logic, but you're exactly right. I think that people learn, like people say to me all the time, why should I be a self-directed investor? In fact, over the last year, you can argue that it was hard to compete with the passive marketplace because everything's been up for 15 straight months. But you know that it won't stay that way, and timing is everything. So what's the advantage of being a self-directed investor? Well, the advantage is you learn how to make decisions, you learn how to be strategic, you learn how to take risk, and you learn how to create probabilistic outcomes. And that's something you can't do anywhere else in life. So when you look at why we build this, why do we do all this, why do we have these conversations on a Tuesday afternoon, after we've been here since 5 a.m, why do we do this still after 35 years or whatever it is? Because there's so much to be gained by just understanding that you can change. There's 350 people listening right now, or 400 people, however many people are on this chat today. You can change 10% of the people listening, 20% of the people listening. There's a takeaway from understanding that you can make decisions that involve risk with basically that $50 trade you're talking about. That $50 trade changes your entire perspective of risk taking. And if you do it enough times, you understand your outcomes are going to be exactly what you expect them to be, given enough tries and given, of course, sometimes the market needs to cooperate with you. We get that. But it's a learning process of taking risk. It's a learning process of being strategic. It's a learning process of making decisions. Once you learn how to make decisions, you can value stuff in life and you become far better at business, far better at entrepreneurship, far better at trading, and pretty much every other aspect of whatever your profession is.
One thing that I've been preaching a lot in my classes, and I do a workshop on it too, Tom, is I preach and I teach a class called Buy One Share. That's the name of the class. Just buy one share. And people don't know what it's like to be in a position like here you are, like even with options, there's so many ways of trading different options, right? On Condors, whatever. And just buy one contract, just buy one share of the stock, and then learn from that mistake. And that's how you learn from trading. So people are like, well, how are you going to make money on one share? That's not the point. The point is just get in the position to see what happens and you learn from there. The way you make money is you learn from your mistakes. And by losing money is a good thing because you know why you did it. You won't do it again. But if you can't even hit the button to buy one share, how are you going to know how to buy 10 shares or 100 or get to that next level? And I think that's like a deer in the headlights. And regarding about the platform, yeah, we love what we do, and that's why we build the platforms and we teach and you're running Tasty Trade and you be on doing your show all the time and have a passion to do it and loving doing it. Because we hate seeing people lose money. That's what it is. I mean, we bump each other all the time in these events and these webinars and on-site events. There's 99% of the people do everything backwards. It's that 1% of the people that listen, and that's what we have here. So was it 10 to 25 million people trading, Tom, in this world? They say. I mean, it just you got to learn. You got to be able to do that. You got to be able to be in that game to know what it's about.
So, quick story. If you got 1 second. So when I was 13 years old, my uncle gave me one share of stock in a company that went out of business, but I don't even remember. It was like Telegraph and something. It wasn't AT&T, but it was like some other company called American Telegraph or something. And I got one share. It was worth $34. Now, remember when I was 13, that seemed like it was $1 million to me, the certificate. And after the stock went from 34, I started watching it. I didn't know anything. I didn't even know what a stock was. I think I was 13. I had no idea. I watched it. The stock got up to maybe $39 or $42, somewhere in that range. And I went to sell the stock, and I couldn't sell the stock because the commissions were $100 to sell the one share. Because I thought I was rich because I had made $40, and I thought that $40 was like that was a couple of rounds caddying at the time. So I couldn't sell the stock, and eventually I stuck it in my attic, and the company went out of business, the one share. But it was him giving me that one share that got me following the stock market and got me interested. So when you say, just buy one share, there's a lot to that, because that's how I started when I was 13. I mean, I didn't know that, 10 years later or 8 years later, I was going to be in this business. But at the time, you don't know these things. Things stick with you. It's crazy.
You know what I do, and I advise all my students that I train, everyone here. Just like you were 13 years old when your uncle bought you one share. One of the things I do now is, here in New York, with nephews and nieces, and we always give money as gifts for weddings and communions and bar mitzvahs, whatever it is. For now on, I don't give anybody money. I open up a brokerage account. I buy a decent, some type of a blue chip stock, put it in there, and teach them about the market. And I'll tell you, like, I don't know if you remember, a long time ago, we had a long conversation about buying silver coins. And when silver really took off, when it went to almost like $40, $50, I remember being at the expo, and just as a goof for Christmas, I would buy a whole stack of silver coins for like $11 each. And for Christmas, I would give them all, because it's pretty cool, the silver coin, And the following year, I went to all the kids and say, hey, listen, you got that silver coin? They're like, I don't remember. Yeah, I think I have it somewhere. And they said, why? I says, I'll give you $40 for it. And they're like, $40? Why so much, Uncle Fausto? And I'm like, because it's worth $50. They're like, well, why don't you give me $50? I'm like, hey, good point. There you go. They're learning the spread. So it's amazing now. And I did that to my son. Now, and the crazy thing, I think we talked about this before. I know you got to go, and I want to take up too much time. But they're the ones that started teaching me about Bitcoin. And all of a sudden, my son bought Bitcoin at $500. And he's like, Dad, you got to buy this thing. And I'm like, and I don't know too much about it, and I want to get into it. But anyway, it all started by getting him involved early and understanding how the market works, and teaching him how money. And you're smart on. Kind of helps out. That's just like something fun to do with all your grandkids.
But I'll give you just one quick example. So I didn't know anything about Bitcoin either, 5 years ago. And in order for me to learn about Bitcoin, I bought Bitcoin. And it's crazy. I know now it seems like, oh man, that was such a layup, but it wasn't a layup. We started buying Bitcoin small, but we started buying Bitcoin at $700. I bought it all the way down to $280. And the reason I bought it was because I didn't know anything. And if I was going to talk about it at live events like this, I figured, well, I got to own it in order to talk about it, because otherwise, that's not fair. I need to practice what I preach. So we bought Bitcoin there thinking, okay, we're just throwing money away. And as it turned out, it was a nice little winner. I mean, by accident and all that stuff, but and if you're interested, one of the nice things about this platform too is it does support Bitcoin. And as you can see here, the Bitcoin futures right now are down to 10,320. When Bitcoin went live with futures, they were almost 19,000 just around, a few weeks ago, just a little over a few weeks ago. I think it was December. Well, it's pretty much a month ago. Let's put it that way. They were between 18,800 and 19,200. They're down to 10,330. So you've seen Bitcoin almost cut in half. And we've been in a very speculative asset bubble. And now you're starting to see a few cracks in that asset bubble, with Bitcoin maybe being a leader. I don't know. Maybe it's too early to tell. But you can see right here, Bitcoin right now at 10,330, which is the lowest it's traded at probably since, I don't know, late fall or something.
Yeah. But Tom, your honest opinion. I know. Listen, I remember you always told me about Facebook. Facebook when I first met you, and Facebook got crushed, and then all of a sudden thing just took off when it went public when the IPO, and you were 1,000% right on it. But your honest opinion, where do you think Bitcoin is going to go? Or what do you think? What do you really think about it? Because a lot of people still, because you know what, Bitcoin brought a lot of people into the market because everyone was hearing so much about it. Forget about options and stocks. Everybody's like, they didn't even know that even existed. They just heard how Bitcoin started taking off. But realistically, where do you think it's going to go? Or what do you think of it? Because I don't really know anything about it. People ask me, I'm like, you know what? And like you said yourself.
Well, there's nothing to know. I mean, Bitcoin is an asset, just like, Bitcoin was not created to be a tradable asset. That wasn't the thought process.
Right, exactly. It was more like,
Bitcoin has become a speculative asset, which is also, which was the original introduction for most people into, the world of crypto and digital currencies. Right. I mean, personally, as somebody that's traded Bitcoin, but not, I've traded the futures, I've traded the cash markets as well. And I'm not 100% buying in that Bitcoin is a world beater. I think you'll see Bitcoin back under 5,000. I even think you may see Bitcoin in a little bit of a panic back close to $1,000. I do think Bitcoin is here to stay, and I think that there will be some, I think there'll be some significant play in Bitcoin over the years. I think it got ahead of itself, but I do think that we've entered an era where there will be a purpose for different digital currencies. There's definitely a purpose for blockchain. It may not be what everybody thinks it is because it's already kind of here, but I do think that you'll see things. The thing I'd like to discuss the most is I think in the future you will see individual investors be able to trade things very similar to the way they trade on eBay right now. So if Fausto wants to offer a pair of sneakers on eBay, and you're in New York and I'm in Chicago, I basically have to trust the entity eBay that you are in some way legit, and I may buy that pair of sneakers in Chicago and and hope that you send them to me. And the system works. And I think that we're eventually going to see, a lot of products that trade in very small denominations. Like you may see, $55 of crude oil traded, from one individual to another, using blockchain. And I think that we're not that far away from seeing that. I mean, I don't know how the exchanges are going to deal with it. I don't know how the regulators are going to deal with it. But the ability for people to interact with each other is how it applies to finance, which is what interests me the most. And there may be situations where you want to trade silver, you want to trade gold, you want to trade crude oil, or you want to trade Bitcoin, but you want to trade it in very small numbers, customer to customer. You may see that in the next, decade or so, and that may be an application that fits us the most.
Yeah, it looks like that's where we're heading. And this is like the only thing that I always got nervous with some of these stocks, like the Bitcoin stuff like that. I mean, I traded Elfin about a month ago, and that thing went from like $5 to 160 in about 2 days. And whatever goes up comes down twice as fast. So a lot of people have to just be careful when they go up; they come down twice as fast. And but you're right. I mean, at the end of the day, it will find its bottom and it'll find its sweet spot, and then it is to stay. I totally agree. But overall, Tom, if anybody wants to get a demo, anyone that registered here, we will send a link for everyone to register at TastyWorks. You can get it right on our website, or you can go right to their website also and register for it. But maybe you could get, if anybody has any last minute questions before we let Tom go. I don't know if there's anything else. Tom, are we going to meet up in New York? You coming to New York, right?
Absolutely. I'll be in New York for the Traders Expo, and I'm speaking on Sunday, and I will be there Sunday and Monday.
Sunday and Monday. All right. Hopefully you get a bite to eat.
Yeah, I will. I'll email you. And thanks, everybody. Thanks so much for hanging in there today. I mean, I know it was kind of the first kind of wild day we've had in the stock market in a while. It's the first time we've seen any kind of two-sided trade in all of 2018 and probably for a lot longer than that. So at least it's a fun day to be here today. I mean, we just did a very basic, kind of overview of the platform. But I can tell you that, we've been using this platform probably 40, 50 times a day I have personally been for the last year or so. And it's an amazing piece of technology. It's only going to get better. It's still in its infancy. And with the rate schedule, I mean, I can't tell you how much of a difference it made to the, to the bottom line over the last year. So I hope you enjoyed it, and we're happy to answer any questions. My email is tom@tastytrade.com. Scott is on today. He's scott@tastyworks.com, and we're happy to answer any questions, or you can go through Fausto if you want to reach us. Fausto, drop me a line. Thanks, everybody. Love it. Thank you.
Thanks for coming, Tom. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it. And everyone, happy trading, all right? See you all tomorrow.